Tesla was down a bunch today, but I did notice that it swung up counter to the market just about the time my video came on earlier today, showing that the HSBC letter had been reported in a criminally negligent way, and that, therefore it should be discounted. Nothing else went up in that last half hour of the market today, only Tesla. So it had to be my program, right? So half of Tesla's lost day would be the macro, driven in part by the Treasury sale that didn't go well and by Chair Powell's comments. I'll make the case that Tesla and the market were down today also because they wanted to go down and they just needed some excuses. This is Randy Kirk, and as always, please hit the like button. It's such a help. And then hit subscribe. That helps even more. Just watching the channel, of course, is a great, massive help. And then hitting notify so that you can be made aware of tomorrow morning's regular program. Tomorrow at noon, I have something special. Oh, yes, I'm going to take a look at Elon Musk's conversation with Lex Fridman today. I took some notes, and I'm going to put together just a quick synopsis in case you don't want to listen to the 2-hour and 15-minute presentation. Now, you should. It was fabulous. It was much better than the Joe Rogan talk last week. But if you don't, and if that will be helpful, I'll do that tomorrow. It might be helpful anyway, because I'll just have comments and thoughts that maybe didn't occur to you when you were watching it. Anyway, and then tomorrow night, I'll have Larry Goldberg on with me, and a great weekend planned as well. So hit notify. And then, of course, I thank you again. More and more orders coming in today for the Cybertruck bottle opener, that is, for those of you who are not regulars here. And of course, it has a giant magnet on the back, so it makes a great refrigerator magnet. And they're only $25. Send to paypal.me/Randy Kirk. That's all in lowercase letters. And then you can join Patreon and get one for free. That also works. Or you can join Patreon just because you like me. Okay, all right. So Fed Chairman Powell today said this: my colleagues and I are gratified by this progress. We expect that the process of getting inflation sustainably down to 2% has a long way to go. We will keep at this until we succeed. He later added, saying the Fed is focused on whether rates need to go higher and how long they need to do that to stay elevated. Then stocks headed lower after the speech, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average closing down 200 points, or going down close to 200 points. Treasury yields lurched higher after declining for most of the past 3 weeks. Treasury yields lurched higher after declining for most of the past 3 weeks. That's not 100%. That's not quite as true. Anyway, propelled up in large measure because of the 30-year bond auction earlier in the morning. Anyway, Chair Powell issued a warning to investors too giddy on the prospect of rate cuts next year, said Jeffrey Roach, chief economist at LPL Financial. The Fed will be true to its mandate and hike further should inflation accelerate or reaccelerate. Well, as he has done in recent speeches, Powell stressed that the Fed nevertheless has to be cautious between the risks, between too much and too little. And he says they've come into closer balance. He said that a couple of weeks ago, a week and a half, whatever that was, when they did his speech after the decision by the Fed to not raise rates. I think that was last week. So I'm not 100% sure that this was actually any change from 2 weeks ago, other than that part, issued a warning to investors too giddy. It feels like a stern daddy telling his teenager to behave. Anyway, I also promised to look up residential rent increases because according to Trueflation, they were 2% higher than last year and kind of steady at that level. And that was a big increase from the zero that they've been showing for months. So I looked up on rent.com. They're saying that the total change from 12 months ago will be a decrease. The September amount dropped from August. Changes in asking rents is also going down. So I don't know where Trueflation is getting this new information that raised it 2%. And it's a big, big chunk of the CPI and the PPI. Anyway, then this from ING, as reported in Business Insider. Inflation is set to hit the Federal Reserve's long-term target of 2% by April of next year and fall below 2% not long after that. The research firm ING also said that falling oil, rent, vehicle prices should drive further disinflation in the coming months, helping cut the current 4% inflation rate in half to 2% by April. Also helping drive inflation lower is a reduction in pricing power among businesses, which for the past 2 years relied on steady price hikes to fuel growth. That means that the Fed's interest rate hikes are likely over, according to ING, with July representing the last hike of the current cycle. Keeping tabs on then, okay, so that's a very good report in line with what we've been saying. I think it's going to happen faster than that. I think we're already closer to 3%. We're not at 4%, but that's for these purposes. I like to read it. Okay. Now then, keeping tabs on my theories regarding senior wealth, and there's hardly anybody else talking about this. You're only going to get it here. Here's more, including income trends from the Wall Street Journal. We used the Federal Reserve data to analyze 4 decades of income growth. We found that the inflation-adjusted income of the median household headed by someone 65 or older rose by 94% from 1982 to 2021. This increase was nearly 3 times the 35% increase among younger households. Huge. For most of U.S. history, it said in this article, incomes of senior households have been well below those of younger households. But after adjusting for relevant differences like seniors living in smaller households and paying a lower portion in taxes, this is no longer the case. As of 2018, the adjusted median household income of seniors equaled that of younger households. In 2021, despite COVID, seniors' adjusted income was equal that of younger households. Senior income growth has been broad-based, occurring in almost all education levels, household types, income distribution. Most notably, over the past 4 decades, incomes of the poorest 25% of senior households grew faster than that of middle-income senior households. Also, the inflation-adjusted median income of senior households headed by people 75 or older increased by 140%. Yay! Okay. Anyway, for all of us out there, the growth in seniors' household income was matched by an increase in their wealth. The typical senior household's inflation-adjusted net worth in mid-2022 was nearly 200% higher than in 1983. Households headed by people now 55 to 64 are positioned to continue this improvement. Yeah, because of the wealth transfer from that elder generation to that generation. Their median wealth level is more than double that of today's retirees when they were that same age. Now, why does any of this matter? Well, baby boomers are the largest generational group, and they've always had massive spending power. So you add numbers with spending power, and you get you're going to get changes in behavior. You're not going to see these people going out and spending the same. They're not going to spend their money on the same things that people that are spending in their 30s and 40s. And so that's what you're seeing with all this leisure spending. Watch the leisure categories. This is the place that's going to be hardest to bring down inflation because grandma and grandpa are going to still get on that airplane and go see the grandkids. Okay, they just are. Or they're going to pay their grandkids to come ahead and visit them. They are going to still go and eat out, regardless of the fact of the higher prices. And it's not going to be affected by what Chairman Powell does with regard to the interest rates. Now, the higher prices might. I don't know about you. I have not gone out to eat. I do pretty well, okay? And I've chosen to not go out to eat because the prices are nuts at the restaurants right now. So let me know if you feel the same way. Have you not gone out to eat? Have you chosen to eat at a less expensive place than you would normally because they're out of control? Anyway, that could start to lower the prices in the restaurants as they start to figure out that, hey, folks are not willing to pay it. Anyway, market and Tesla action today. The market had a 7-day stint, 7 days in a row of going up, and what goes up must eventually take a breather. And the market was in the middle of this breather when it was slammed with that report about the 30-year bonds. Now, it shouldn't have been that big of a shock because they had to sell all those 3-month bonds on Tuesday. Then they had to sell a bunch of 10-year bonds on Wednesday, and every one of these was a record for the Treasury ever. So was it that big of a surprise? Anyway, we had this big drop. Then, before the market could catch its breath, Chair Powell added fuel to the fire. In the meantime, somebody has been selling off Tesla every morning this week before them, just as exactly when the market opens. All of a sudden, there's this downtrend, counter market. So we've seen that all this week. Now, this morning, it was hard to tell if that was a part of what happened because the HSBC report came in and, boom, that thing, the stock went down. Now, I did that 20 minutes on that report earlier today, which you should watch. If you haven't watched it already, it was very instructive and it was wrong in so many ways. Gary Black says he has the whole thing. I was wondering the whole time I was researching, is this a longer report that has a lot of charts and graphs and numbers in it? And Gary Black says, I think it's a 210-page report. So I am seeking to get, if you've got the full report and you'd be willing to send it over to me, that would be fantastic. Let me know in the comments below or send it to my email. And then, because I'd really love to see the entire thing. I'm reaching out to some other places to see if I can find it so we can dig into it. But I went through 8 different points where the HSBC report was fantastic for Tesla. And those didn't end up in the headlines. They commonly didn't even end up in the articles. Things like their bull case was 280, even though their bear case was 152 or whatever it was. Only one article out of 10 talked about that bull case. So it was a little bit wacky. I think that tomorrow, I think what we're going to see is the market is going to be in more of a bargain hunting mode. They're going to look at what happened with those interest rates yesterday. And I think but I know you think it's my optimism, but I think those interest rates will come off a little bit again. I think that the market will go back up again. It may not make up the difference, the 200 points in one day, but I think it'll be going back into regular mode after the craziness of today. And similar for Tesla. I don't think there's been too much good news, a lot of good news for Tesla. So it's a little hard to understand why this one report, except for the fact that maybe it was just time. People wanted to do the sell-up. So let's take a good look here at where we are in the markets. So we are getting close to the end of after hours for Tesla. It is down another 0.8%. So, less than $2. It's down in the after hours. And then let's see, we want to look at the other numbers here. We have got the bonds are up just 1.4 or 1.5 basis points at 4.644. So still very, very low, compared to the 4.95, almost 5% that it was just a couple of days ago. We've got the 2-month is a similar amount up and the 2-year a similar amount up. So all three right now kind of going in lockstep. We need to look at the other items here. We want to know what is happening with the overall market. So we've got the pre-market, all three. So the Dow is up 20, S&P is up, the Dow is down 20, S&P down 6, and the NASDAQ is down 40. That is basically break even for the Dow, down 0.14% for the S&P and down 0.26% for the NASDAQ. We have also got crypto continuing at about 36.5. I was crypto, Bitcoin. I do that all the time. I'm very sorry. And then the dollar staying, right up there. Gold down. I think it's actually about the same as it was today, 1963. And then oil at $75.42 in a very lovely place. Love to see oil at that spot. Okay. Just one more reminder to watch tomorrow. We got the regular program in the morning. I was going to tease the Tesla thing for tomorrow. What did Elon Musk talk tomorrow? I forgot what I was going to, what happened to my tease? I think I've lost it. I skipped it. Oh yeah, here's the tease. Okay. Elon said that one goal for Optimus is to be able to pick up a needle and thread the needle. The tease is, when does Elon think that Optimus will be able to accomplish that task And then second question, if the optimist can pick up a needle and thread that needle in some finite amount of time, I mean, what is it, 5 years? Is it 4 years? You know, how long is it? Then what can the optimist already do now in terms of useful tasks that would require far less finesse, dexterity, and control? Okay, so hit like, subscribe, notify, see all the programs tomorrow. You know what they are, and buy the Cybertrek bottle cap opener and join Patreon. Other than that, I got nothing. I got no instructions for you on this Thursday night. It's been great talking to you.